What's good? What's good? I am back. First of all, Happy New Year's. We have just entered 2022. I was born in 1979, man, so I didn't even think I'd live this long. So, everybody that's made it to a whole nother year, congratulations. Happy New Year's. Um, we get into some scores, some topics, get into my New Year's goals and resolutions. And I might give you a little shot of Dizzle early in the morning since I didn't stay up and drink last night because I'm getting old. I'm becoming an old man. Plus, I work 7 days a week online from the comfort of my home, but I work all throughout the day, you know. But before we get started, we are live on TikTok. We are pre recording for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, and I also will, after this recording is over, I will live stream it on three of my Twitters, which they vary because I got several Twitters. But the Paul Pickett podcast, Paul P Twitter at Paul P Podcast, typically Promo Palace LLC, and maybe my Indie Castle Twitter that I will pretty much take the pre-recording and live stream it on those platforms, and sometimes Twitch. But I don't really got a following on Twitch yet, so you know, haven't really been live streaming on Twitch. And also, don't forget this content is pre-recorded for Rumble as well, and we're gonna get that caught up this week. Get all our content caught up on Rumble. So Rumble, YouTube, Instagram TV, and Facebook is our main video platforms, along with Twitter, which will stream it live. And then we also always go live on TikTok while we're pre recording. So anybody that's watching on TikTok, hit that follow. If you don't, I will follow anybody that I'm not following that viewed into this stream at any point after I'm done with this live stream. Before we get started, don't forget this podcast is sponsored by Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. If you need online marketing promotions for your music, product, brand, or your service in its first quarter of the year, so best time if any, go to promopalace.biz. We do TikTok promotion, YouTube promotion, Facebook advertising, Instagram influencer marketing, TikTok influencer marketing, playlist pitching, pretty much everything you think of. Pitch your music to DJs. We get your music on blogs. We do SEO. We do press releases. You name it, we more likely do it if it involves online marketing and promotions. Also, if you're a dog lover, some of y'all saw my dog on last episode. She popped up last episode towards the end. Gia the dog. Follow her on TikTok as well. If you're on TikTok, check her out, Gia the dog, or you can go under the people that I follow and you'll see her under there. And if you're a dog lover, cat lover, animal rights activist, and you like t-shirts and hoodies, and it's actually hoodie season because it's wintertime, get cold, check out New Litter Apparel at newlitter.com. It's NEWLITTER.com. We got t-shirts, hoodies, we got sneakers. Yes, they come from China. I'm not big enough to get a sneaker deal with Nike or nothing like that. Even Nike sneakers come from China, so it doesn't even really matter. Um, yeah, we got sneakers, we got apparel for your dogs to wear, like dog bandanas, and of course, New Litter Apparel. We got to have dog tags as well. We got dog tags. And for Shizzle, I got to shout out one of my favorite brands, DizzleBrand.com. They just had a meet and greet at one of the liquor stores for like 4 hours yesterday, from like 4 to 7. Check them out, DizzleBrand.com. Just add ice, Dizzle on ice. Do your Dizzle. Step into the future. DizzleBrand.com. You got a dozen recipes on there that you could mix your Dizzle with. Got an online order link. You can order your Dizzle from Valley Beverage. As you see, here goes mine, Dizzle brand. And I will probably be mixing this with some Sprite later to see how that goes. I've never mixed it with Sprite or soda, and I think it's gonna go good with Sprite. That mango orange flavor should go good with the Sprite. I don't know how it goes good with Coca-Cola. I know it goes good with V8 Splash Berry Blend goes very well. And if you just throw it on ice and just drink it as is, it's real smooth. It's got flavor to it. It doesn't necessarily burn your chest, but it will get you effed up. You will be buzzing, cousin. Let me get to some scores. NBA scores last night. Boston beat Phoenix. I'm gonna have to pull up the box score on that. See who for Phoenix was out because they beat them pretty bad. And normally Phoenix ain't losing no games like that. Chicago beat Indiana with a last second, like a 1 foot runner jump shot by DeRozan for a three. I mean, he literally just came off of 1 foot and just, and it's like he knew it was in there. Like Steph Curry, like he knew it was in there when he took that shot. Dallas beat the Kings with Sacramento Kings, which they should have. Miami beat the Houston Rockets, which they should have. Atlanta beat Cleveland. Atlanta is one of the most disappointing teams of this year. Like Atlanta was my squad last year. Like Atlanta, I want Atlanta to come out the East last year, man. They play some very exciting ball, but this year, man, I mean they beat Cleveland, but Cleveland probably had a couple people out, like starters. They had a couple people out last game, and Atlanta needs to be winning some games anyways. They got to get it together. Excuse me about the hiccup. They got to get it together if they want to make it to the playoffs because Atlanta was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and now they don't even look like they're going to make the playoffs. Okay, Toronto beat the Clippers. Memphis beat the Spurs. And Utah beats Minnesota. And Lakers beat Portland off of LeBron's 40-point game. Let's see, who? Of course, okay, Phoenix Suns actually had most of their starters. Of course, they didn't have DeAndre Ayton, so that would mean a lot of why Boston beat them. Atlanta, Atlanta. I mean, Darius Garland didn't play for Cleveland. Darius Garland's the number one player. When your number one player doesn't play, like, yeah, you better beat my team. And OKC's beat the Knicks. That's the thing. The Knicks should be better than OKC. On paper, the Knicks should be better than OKC. But Julius Alexander's he's been doing his thing, man, over there. He's gonna be a legit all-star coming up in the future. Really legit all-star. As you start to see some of these older cats retire out. And let me see, was there any games? It doesn't look like there was any NFL games. What was the Thursday game? I don't see the Thursday game. Oh well, but I'll give my picks later this week. First things first, before I get these topics, and we go into a couple of my New Year's resolutions. Anybody who knows me knows I own Promo Palace LLC. It's an online marketing promotions company for mainly musicians. It's pretty much a self-sustaining business. Been promoting artists for over a decade. I built a consumer base up that pretty much has been pretty much steady throughout the years. I advertise every single day of my life. You know, like I always try to preach that you need to, if you're trying to make it in the business world online and you're not advertising at least $1 a day, which is the minimal, of advertising. I mean, $1 a day, like I have to question everything about you as a business person. Like when I see musicians and even my clients that they're not even spending $1 a day on advertising on just one platform like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, I have to question everything about them, So Promo Palace is pretty much a self-sustaining business. So my New Year's goals really is to help get Dizzle popping. Because Dizzle, I'm pretty much one of the online promotion guys. I run the Facebook and the owners run the Instagram. I also help run the TikTok. and the Twitter as well. I give a lot of advice about their website, stuff like that. And so Dizzle is like my number one goal. Because I know Dizzle, I know what it could be. Dizzle has the potential of being a $100 million to $200 million business or more. Everybody that drinks the Dizzle, they like it. Nobody, like, we have not got nobody said nothing bad about Dizzle yet. Then I compare it to all these other liquor companies I see. Like, I be seeing these companies, and there's always something that's just missing to me. Like, maybe their presentation, their bottles look so basic and plain. Like this Dizzle bottle, I mean, it stands out. It's gold. It's a gold label. The logo stands out. It just looks sexy. And even though Dizzle has somewhat of like a urban sounding name, and Dizzle's only called Dizzle because Mike Dizzle created it, the majority owner, and took the form of the last name of Mike Dizzle, which is probably not his real last name. I could be wrong. I have to do my research on that. I've never asked, is Dizzle's last name really Dizzle? I'm pretty sure it's not. It's like probably his mixologist name or like a stage name. But that's why it's called Dizzle, because Mike Dizzle created it. Um, the label looks way better than a lot of labels I've seen. It's already good to go. You don't have to mix it with anything. That's the thing with most liquors. Like, you could drink Paul Masson straight up, but you typically want to mix it with something. There's a lot of these liquors you could drink straight up, but like Henny. That's why they call it Henny and Coke. Because you typically want to mix all these other liquors with something, but Dizzle's just ready to go. It's ready to go, and we got recipes that just give a whole new experience. So that's the number one goal, is Dizzle. And number 2 and 3, I got 3 goals. Number 1 is Dizzle. And actually, they're not really in any specific order, but these are just my 3 goals for the year. Number 2 is this podcast. Like, now that the New Year's has started, now I got to really get on my research. I got to come up with topics every day because I'm going to be podcasting every single day. I'm going to take off. As soon as I hit I got 5 more episodes to go till I hit 100. I'm going to do a press release and run an ad. And that's going to take me about a week to get done. So that whole week, I'm going to take off. No podcasting for a whole week. As soon as I get that press release done and I start that ad campaign, I'm going to start podcasting every single day of the year. And I might take a week off when I hit 100 episodes for that. Every 100 episodes, I'll probably take a week off just to run another, just so I can put together another press release and all that and just take a break. But I'm about to ramp up the content. I got to come up with topics every day. I'm going to have to dig and search. I'm going to have to, even if I had to watch more news, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Watch more other podcasters, other content creators, because that's a lot of times where I get my topics from, other content creators with their juicy topics. All right, so podcast, we got to get it popping. We got ads running every single day on YouTube, and I'm actually about to create a new ad, a better looking ad, and start running that ad every single day for at least $1 a day minimum, on YouTube. And number 3, the apparel, New Litter Apparel. I got to get New Litter Apparel popping. And that's the thing. Promo Palace is already self-sustaining, so I can focus on these other things a lot more. So New Litter Apparel, I got to get popping. I got a T-shirt that a friend of mine wears, and everywhere he goes, he says white folks walk up to him all the time, and they love the T-shirt. This is an African-American friend of mine, and actually one of my best friends. Probably my number one friend, because if somebody was to off me today, whack me out for no reason, he would be the guy that's going to get revenge for my death. He would be the guy that revenge my death in my name. So, Stranger the Great, Kareem Stevens, shouts out to you. But he wears the New Little Apparel T-shirt, one of the T-shirts that white folks come up to him all the time and they say they love it. So he gave me an idea of how I'm gonna theme out the New Little Apparel T-shirts with that kind of specific shirt. But we're gonna change the dogs and the cats on it. But we also got a ad campaign running every day of the week for New Little Apparel. But we're about to adjust it, make some changes, and do some things. So Dizzle, the podcast, and the apparel, man. That's the top three things this year I'm focusing on. Promo Palace is self-sustaining itself. So I'm going to be ramping up content for the new year. Pretty soon you're going to see podcasts every single day. So I'll be live on TikTok every single day. And then the pre-recordings will be going to Facebook, Instagram, TV, YouTube every single day, along with taking the pre-recording and streaming it live on 3 of my Twitters every single day. So we're going to ramp that up. So if you get tired of seeing on my face now, you're really going to get tired of seeing my face and hearing me in the future, because we're going to ramp that up. And we got to ramp, like I said, we got to ramp up the podcast, New Little Apparel, and Dizzle. We're working on getting Dizzle put in North Carolina right now, even though it started in California. I'm on the East Coast. So I have a guy ready to place an order in Cumberland County as soon as we can get it listed. And Cumberland County is a great county because Cumberland County is the home of Fort Bragg, which protects all y'all's freedoms. We're the front line of every single war. 82nd Airborne, front line. While y'all still sitting here watching TV, it's the 82nd Airborne that's out. And this is the thing that people don't understand about living in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They think that their city is more dangerous and more fearful to live in. Bullshit. Because if the enemy was to attack U.S. soil, Fort Bragg would be the first to go, baby. Fort Bragg is going to be the first to go. My hometown is going to be the first target. So we walk around here every day knowing that if the enemy ever wanted to drop the bomb, he would drop it on my city first. That's how we walk around here. Y'all talking about living in fear. If the enemy ever wants to drop the bomb, this city will be the first to go. I stay on Bragg Boulevard. Off of Bragg Boulevard. The street that runs into Fort Bragg. The main road for Fort Bragg. Bragg Boulevard. I stay off of that road. So if you think they dropped the bomb tomorrow that I ain't going to go, I'm going to go. But do I fear that? Nah, man, because I'm going to die someday. I'm going to die someday. I tell you that much. And if I go, I want to go quick. A bomb's a pretty quick way to go. I want to go quick. I don't want to go suffer. I don't want to go in pain. But, yeah, we could walk around here living in fear every single day knowing that if China or Russia ever tries to drop the bomb, this city's the first to go. Not Chicago, not LA, not New York, not Atlanta. Yeah, y'all got gang violence and stuff like that, but they ain't dropping a bomb on y'all first. We be gone just like snap. All right, so that's my New Year's resolution and goals. Is we got to get Dizzle popping. We got the Dizzle brand shirt on, as you see. It's looking shiny. We got to get Dizzle popping. We got to get Paul Pickett podcast. You see the name behind me. And we got to get New Little Apparel popping. But we're going to get into a few topics. Let's see what topic I'm going to talk about today first. I'm going to talk about Aaron Rodgers first, where he was talking about NFL's vaccination policy has created two classes. And this kind of goes off of what I said that the Democrats are doing right now, these far left radical politicians. They're using these different things to divide us. They're using black versus white, or white versus black, however you want to say it, or white versus color. They're using the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, which I'm unvaccinated, but I ain't been sick in 3 years, so I ain't put nobody at risk. If anything, they're putting me at risk. But it ain't a complete stranger responsibility to make sure I'm healthy and I'm taking care of myself. That's the thing. It's not a complete stranger's responsibility to be responsible for me. No, complete strangers are not responsible to complete strangers. I don't even know who the hell you are. I hold no responsibility to you. And if I haven't been sick in 3 years, I'm not putting nobody at risk. Everybody's putting me at risk. I haven't been sick in 3 years. So they're creating these classes in the NFL where it's vaccinated versus unvaccinated. Another one is masked versus unmasked. That's another thing that they're trying to divide us in. They're trying to act like the people that ain't wearing masks are putting all the people at masks with risk. Once again, I have not been sick in 3 years. If I walk up into a grocery store with no mask, which I have before, you are putting me at risk. I'm not putting you at risk because I have not been sick in 3 years. Why is that? Once again, I've preached this over and over on my podcast. I don't need Dr. freaking Fauci to tell me why I have not been sick in 3 years. It has nothing to do with a mask and everything to do with social distancing. I live alone and I work alone. I live alone, I work alone. I live alone, I work alone. Live alone, work alone. What do those two things have in common? Well, let's see. What do those two things have in common? Live alone and work alone. Well, when you live with people, you're around them for hours at a time, several hours at a time. When you work with people, you're around them for several hours at a time. You're not around people several hours at a time when you go to the grocery store. If you go to dine in a restaurant, if you go into the convenience store, you're not even in there for several minutes sometimes. Sometimes I go to the grocery store, I'm in and out in 2 minutes. I touch the same credit card machines that everybody else is spreading germs on. Still haven't got sick. So we know that's bogus. It's just so many things that's bogus with this COVID. They expect everybody to run to the floodgates to get vaccinated. But you sat there, CDC clearly sat there on video and said, once you get vaccinated, the virus stops there with you. It stops. It completely stops with you right there. You can't give it to nobody and you can't get it. Well, guess what? That is complete horse shit. So why do you expect people to run to the floodgates when you telling us horse shit? Complete bullshit. And there's no proof that unvaccinated people spread COVID more than the vaccinated. I would argue that vaccinated spread it more simply because they probably had COVID already. A lot of people that are unvaccinated, like me, haven't had COVID. But then there's people like my friend, Stranger the Great, Kareem Stevens, an African American, who's not vaccinated either, and he has had COVID. And he has had family members die from COVID, and he's still not get vaccinated. Because I think he agrees with me that the number one vaccination against a virus, and I repeat, the number one vaccination against a virus, it don't take a rocket scientist or Dr. Fauci to figure this out. This is common sense. It's natural immunity. Natural immunity is the number one vaccination towards any virus is natural immunity. It's number one. And anybody that says otherwise has no common sense. Common sense should tell you that natural immunity is number one. Then if your natural immunity doesn't hold up very well, then you go to the drugs that these people create that we don't even know what the hell is in it. I have never seen a video whatsoever where they say, this is what is consistent in the vaccine. This idea that people are supposed to just put something, everybody's supposed to put something in their body when they can't even read to see what it's in it. I got friends that, I mean, they're not going to put a single thing in their body if they can't read and see that everything in there is natural. If it's not natural, organic, no, it's not going into their body. You know, like I'm not a healthy eater. I eat burgers, pork, bacon, sausage. I eat it all, except like pig feet and hog maws and stuff like that. But I eat, you get it. I eat chicken, pork, beef, whatever, fish. You know, even though I would like to eat healthier, I would like to find a fish that I could, a couple fishes I could eat more on the daily. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for me to find good fishes from the grocery store. But I got friends that they don't eat nothing. They don't eat no beef, no chicken, no turkey. The only thing they're eating is seafood. That's because they're not going to put anything in their body they feel like is going to harm their body. I got a friend that's super thin, just because of the way he eats. Don't look like I've known him for 30 something years. It doesn't look like he's gained a single pound. I've done sitting here getting a computer gut, getting rolls because I ain't eating good, and I'm sitting behind a computer desk, and I walk every single day. I gotta walk every single day. Walk my dog. I'll walk to the store just to walk to the store. Because I got to. Like I said, I sit behind a computer desk all day. But this COVID stuff, there's just so much stuff that is not lining up. And this idea that you're going to force people that might have a natural immunity to COVID to get vaccinated is bogus, man. It's bullshit. It's horseshit. Because natural immunity is number one, man. If you got a natural immunity to it, why the hell does anybody got to get vaccinated? My friend that got COVID, he said that he had cold chills. I've gotten cold chills before. Yeah, I don't like cold chills. I instantly got to go get under the blanket, try to take care of the cold chills, and then go away kind of quick on me. But like having cold chills for like a week, yeah, that would kind of suck. But that's all he had, cold chills. I mean, you know, I've been sick sometimes where I felt like I wanted to die. Like I just felt like I've been sick so bad sometimes I just had to sleep for like 3 days straight just to get over it. But I haven't been sick in 3 years because I don't work with nobody and I don't live with nobody. And I don't need Dr. Fauci to tell me that I need a vaccination to prevent from getting COVID. If I prevented from getting sick for 3 years straight, why do I need a vaccination? And if I ain't been wearing a mask the whole 3 years, why the hell I need a mask? No, I just need to just not go to a bunch of parties, not hang out at a club all night, not go to a bunch of concerts, not hang out with a bunch of friends doing nothing. I just need to live my life how I live my life. Get up every day, work online, go to the store, get what I need, come home, and that's it. I don't need a vaccination to prevent me from getting sick when I prevented myself from getting sick just simply because I don't hang out with a ton of people for a long period of time. And even when I like Thanksgiving, I ate Thanksgiving at a friend's 2 houses over, our neighbors. We weren't wearing no masks. None of us was vaccinated. They're probably all, and this is another thing, man. Living in fear every day of COVID, that's such a weak way to live. It's such a weak-minded way to live, man. Everybody is promised one thing in life, and that's death. That's the only thing you promise, man. You're not promised success. I'm not promised that, I'm not promised success. I have to work for it. That's why I have Promo Palace LLC. That's why I have this podcast. That's why I have the apparel. That's why I'm trying to help my friend with this Dizzle going. Right now, I'm working for Dizzle, like, just because I know what Dizzle could be, because my mentor is a third owner. And as long as Dizzle pops and he pops, I know I'm going to go along for the ride because I've been putting in work on this brand, showing my dedication and my belief in this brand. I strongly believe in Dizzle. I believe, to be honest with you, I believe Dizzle is going to be bigger than any of my brands, except maybe New Little Apparel. I think New Little Apparel is the only brand that could compete with Dizzle because of the dog lovers and the cat lover fan base out there. I could target. I think it's the only one. And the T-shirt I got that all the white folks just love. All the white folks love this T-shirt, and probably some black folks too, because it's got the pit. The one he rocks has the pit bull on it, and black folks love pit bulls. I love pit bulls. One of my favorite, my neighbor 2 doors over, she got a pit bull named Mongo. He's the sweetest pit bull on the planet, man. Stockiest, sweetest dog you ever meet. I mean, like harmless, couldn't hurt a flea. Literally, I leave my back door open. He walks in the house like nothing, like cool as beans. But Aaron Rodgers is right. They're creating this two-class system in the NFL with this vaccination policy. They're using it to divide America. Like I said, they're using so many tactics. White versus color, color versus white, masked versus unmasked, vaccinated versus unvaccinated, woke versus non-woke. Transgender versus non-transgender. They're using all these things to try to pit people against each other. But I don't think it's gonna work. All right, let me get another sports-related topic. The swimmer Leah Thomas. Let me think about this one, man. Like how I really want to come across this. I know some people are probably going to say, anytime you talk about these kind of topics, you're going to get accused for being transphobic. First of all, I'm not scared of no person on this planet. I don't fear no one. So I don't have no phobia towards any people. I fear walking up on a tiger or a lion or a bear without my 12 gauge more than walking up on a person. A person with a gun doesn't even scare me. Not no more. Not no more. I've done had enough guns put to me enough times to know now a person with a gun doesn't scare me. And then after you almost have a near-death experience, like mine, you have a near-death experience, you start to realize you ain't really afraid of nothing anymore. So first of all, let's put that out the way. I'm not transphobic once I start talking about this topic, because I ain't scared of no Leah Thomas. Ain't no transgender putting any fear in my heart. Ain't no person on this planet putting any freaking fear in my heart. I ain't scared of none of you. I'm 42 years old, a grown man. I done had guns put to me before. I done been through a near-death situation. Unless you can hit me harder than a car, I ain't scared of you. Unless you can punch me harder than a car can hit me, I'm not scared of you. So let's get that out the way. Now, this swimmer, Leah Thompson, is basically, there's a lot of uproar because he, she, whatever you want to call him. This is the thing, and I'm going to put this out on the table. I'll call, for the sake of, you want to change, whatever you want to change your name to, if you're a man want to change your name to a woman's name, hey, I'll call you that. But if you're a man and you want me to call you a woman, it's not happening. It's not flying, bud. You don't get to tell me that I have to go along with lies in society. I'm sorry. I follow only the truth. The truth of the matter is men are men and women are women. We're not the opposites. There's just so many differences. So, yeah, Leah Thomas, I'll call you Leah Thomas, but I'm not going to call you she. So the swimmer Leah Thompson, he basically is a transgender woman. And he is breaking I think it was the Ivy League swim record. Now, I watched a video where he won a race and he was literally 2 laps ahead of the next swimmer. I don't know I've ever seen a swim meet where somebody was 2 laps ahead of somebody. I don't know that I've ever seen that. That's ridiculous. 2 laps ahead of somebody? The first place winner was 2 laps ahead of the second place winner. That means nobody stands a chance. That means advantage. Now, whether it's unfair or not, it is. It is unfair. Is it? Now, one thing I did notice is Leah Thomas is, as a transgender woman, is not the fastest. Does not have the fastest time in college uh, women's swimming, but it has like the second fastest, and like dominating the field. But this is the thing. Who do I blame for this? This is the thing. Who do I blame for transgender women taking over women's sports? Well, this is going to sound feminist, but it's true. You have to blame women. It's the same thing with women's basketball. You have to blame women. Why? Because it's women who pushed. It's predominantly women who have pushed these transgender movements. It ain't men. Men are not at the forefront of these transgender movements, of supporting them and backing them and standing in their corner. I'm telling you right now, it's women. Women, I don't feel sorry for women in women's sports if transgender women take over the sports. I don't feel sorry for them because, like a lot of these right political Republicans I see, they were like, oh, I feel sorry for women in women's sports because these men are going competing as women and they're taking over. I don't feel sorry because women are the ones who back this movement. They are the strongest supporters of this movement. So they get what they asked for. It's their own fault. It's just like women's basketball. They want to point the fingers, right? And they want to blame men all day long. Like men are holding women's basketball back. No, we're not. Because more men watch women's basketball than females do. And 10% more men. That's a lot. 15% of the women on this planet watch women's basketball. That's 1.5 women out of every 10. 2.5 to 3 men out of every 10 watch women's basketball. More men support women's basketball than female. I repeat, more men support women's basketball than female. And that's the problem with women's basketball right there. But now it's the kind of the opposite. Not enough women support the women's basketball. That's why they're not popping. But more women, too many women supported the transgender movement, and that's why now transgender women are dominating female sports, and they're going to continue to dominate them. And as long as they continue to let transgenders women compete in women's sports, women holding records will just diminish and diminish and diminish one by one. But like I said, I don't feel sorry for them because women are the ones that were at the forefront of this movement. It's your own fault. You try to force a non-truth. You try to force a non-truth. Like, this is my thing. If you're a man that wants to become a woman, that's on you. You want to say you identify with a woman, that's on you. You can say you identify whatever you want to identify with, but it doesn't make you that. I can identify with a zebra. It doesn't make me a zebra. I can identify with a hippopotamus. It doesn't make me a hippopotamus. I can identify with, and that's the thing. When you open up these identity politics have opened up the floodgates now where, like I told my friend Kareem, like, now there's a scapegoat to you calling any white person racist. Now you can't even say a white person's racist because you know why? All they got to do is say they identify with being black. Because I've seen people on other videos saying they identify with being Asian when they're not freaking Asian. They identify with being Hispanic when they're not Hispanic. So now people can say they identify with any fucking thing. You open up the floodgates for me to say, if you ever called me a racist, I'm like, how can I be a racist? I identify with being black. And to be honest with you, coming up as a kid, I damn near did. I'm a rapper. Most of my friends are predominantly black. The first female I was really in love with was a black woman whose initials are tatted on my arm. I've had multiple sexual encounters with multiple women of color. I've probably had sex with way more black women than white women because just something about them is just it's just a physical attraction I have to them. You know. Now, mentally, I'm not really attracted to white women or black women at this state of my life. I'm attracted to Hispanics and Asians and Arabics mentally and physically. I think all women of all races are physically attractive. Arabic women are attractive, Hispanic women, Russian women, Asian women. There's plenty. I mean, like, there's not one culture or one race of woman that I would say I couldn't marry. I couldn't settle down with. I could settle down with any race and any culture of woman. I could settle down with an Asian woman, a Hispanic woman, an African American woman, an African woman, a white woman, a Russian woman. I could settle down with any culture or race or woman, and I could have kids with them, and it wouldn't think second or third thoughts about it whatsoever. You know, because I find women of all races attractive, of all cultures attractive. Yes, I would. Would I marry an Arabic woman? Yeah, an attractive. If I found her attractive, yes, yes, I would. You know, and we actually could conversate. She spoke English. Cause me learning Arabic, that probably ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I don't blame nothing but women for this Leah Thomas thing. Women are the one that back the transgender movement. I don't feel sorry for them getting dominated in sports by transgender women. It is what it is, you know. And that's the thing. Like I said, you try to force a non-truth on us, you know. Like when men are born, men are men and women are women. I mean, that's like I saw this thing the other day where they said it was a transgender man has a kid. So because I'm always confused, which one is which. Then so transgender man is a woman was born a woman who identifies as a man, but it wasn't a. Then it's like since a transgender man had a kid, now they're saying, well, you can't just identify women with pregnancies. Bullshit. That was still a woman who had a kid who identifies as a man. And I can tell you right now, women can identify as men all they want. Women will never be men. You're not going to grow a penis. You ain't going to be able to knock somebody up. And you'll never understand the mindset of it, what it takes to be a man. Women will never understand the full mind state of being a man. They will be what they think a man is, or what a man is supposed to be. But they're not that. That doesn't work like that. Men, I hate to say it, men are still very much like cavemen. We go out and get the food to put on the table. We bring it home. Y'all cook it. That's our mindset still. And as much as y'all been trying to change us for the last some odd years, you know, you don't get to change people. If you're not happy with who they are, then don't be in a relationship with them. This idea that, a woman gets in a relationship to try to change a man, who the fuck you think you are? Maybe you the one needs changing. This idea that you want to change somebody in a relationship anyways just goes to show that you don't really care. You don't really love the person they are anyways. So why the hell you with them? Nobody should be trying to change nobody. You don't get to dictate if I want to change myself. That's up for me. And only I can change myself. Not no woman, not no other person can change me but myself. That's up for me to dictate all the way through. It's up for me to decide if I want to change. It's up for me to dictate the change. But when you go in this mindset, you want to change somebody's relationship now. But yeah, Leah Thomas, I mean, swim on, break all the records. Break them all. I mean, I ain't mad at you because women are the ones that push this transgender movement super heavy, and now they're getting what they deserve. They're getting dominated in their own sport. Let me get to. I'm gonna get over this one topic real quick, and then I'm gonna get to the last topic. I talked about it already, but these people out here with this. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and drink some Dizzle too. We'll pour some Dizzle in the Sprite. These people out here on this left, Democrats out here crying and complaining about "Let's go, Brandon." These people can't be smart at all. They can't be smart. These people, these far left radical Democrats, can't be smart at all. They can't. They can't have no common sense. They literally, every single day, I see double standards coming from them. I see hypocrisies over and over and over again. The fact they're literally insane. They are insane. I mean, because they literally can't get the picture. They can't smell the Folgers of the hypocrisies that they commit over and over and over again. Like, I don't want to hear nobody crying and complaining about "Let's go, Brandon." Are you freaking shitting me? Look, I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Biden, but all due respect, y'all hypocritical motherfuckers were out here doing that to Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Y'all was like, fuck Donald Trump. Y'all literally just said, fuck Donald Trump. You had, what's her name? Kathy Griffin does an effigy holding a severed head that looks like Donald Trump. That is the worst thing anybody's ever done to a president. In the history of celebrities and civilians insulting a president, holding a severed head, what looks like a president's head, is far worse than "Let's go, Brandon." First of all, "Let's go, Brandon" is far more sophisticated and clean than "fuck Donald Trump." And then let's also go into the history of how did this "Let's go, Brandon" start? Who do you blame? Well, you blame who was more likely a far left radical reporter for lying while she was interviewing a race car driver named Brandon. The crowd was shouting "fuck Joe Biden," and she decides to lie on television like the left media does every single day of the week. Decide to lie and say, "Oh, they're saying "Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon." You stupid, dumb, deaf bitch. You know what they were saying. So that's why it started. Because the reporter brought life to it. The reporter is the one that invented this metaphor, as we could call it, I guess, or whatever. I don't know what we call it. This cryptic symbolization of "Let's go, Brandon." This cryptic message. That's what it is. It's like a cryptic message, right? Within "Let's go, Brandon" now. Now when you say "Let's go, Brandon," unless you're really the guy, unless you're really at a sports game and the person you're saying "Let's go, Brandon" is really Brandon, you're more likely saying fuck Joe Biden. And a lot of people are capitalizing off of it. That's the thing. That's why people are mad. That's why they bitching and complaining. Y'all wasn't able to capitalize and make money off of fuck Donald Trump. That's what it is. Y'all wasn't smart enough and genius enough to come up with songs and make hit records and make money and capitalize off of fuck Donald Trump. I mean, I could have helped you. If that was the case, if you didn't know how to make money off of that, I could have stepped up to the plate and helped y'all figure that one out. That was easy peasy. That was so easy peasy. But that's all it seems like they're mad about. They're mad because, I mean, it's such a hypocritical double standard. Saying fuck Donald Trump is far worse than saying let's go Brandon. And all due respect, Joe Biden agreed on live television. That's how moronic he is of a president. Like, if that was me, I'd have been like, excuse me, what the fuck did you just say? I'd have probably sent the Secret Service to his ass, to his house. Had them come pick him up and bring his ass so he could say that shit to my face. Like, stop it, man. Like, Joe Biden literally was a cornball. Literally, yeah, I agree. Let's go, Brandon. And you want to get mad at people? Man, stop it. Such a double standard, such hypocrisy. That's why Democrats are going to lose the office. Democrats are going to lose the office, not because I'm going to go out and vote for Republicans. They're going to lose the office simply because their left-wing media is lying every single day. They're spewing hypocrisies and double standards every day out of their mouth. I mean, they are the party of hypocrisies and double standards. I call them the double standard Dems. I mean, yes, there's hypocrisies coming out on the Republican side. I said one earlier, the one where they're crying and complaining about transgenders taking over sports. Yeah, I don't want to hear Republicans crying about that because women are the reason they're not even putting out the fact that women supported this movement in State Farm. So yeah, it's a hypocrisy on the Republican side and a double standard when it comes to transgenders dominating sports. But Dems are every day, man. Dems, it's every single day I see hypocrisy after hypocrisy after hypocrisy, man. Like, they'll get mad at something that they do themselves. Like, fuck Donald Trump, but you get mad at let's go Brandon. At least the Republican side was, more classy about it. Their version, let's go Brandon, is way more classier than just fuck Donald Trump. It's a little bit cleaner. It's PG-13. You can actually say it in PG-13 settings. Fuck Donald Trump is only a rated R settings. Like apparently my podcast. But yeah, man, y'all gotta stop with them double standards. If people could run around here and call Donald Trump a racist, white supremacist, and say fuck Donald Trump, I don't want to hear about crybaby and about some let's go Brandon. And just because y'all been crybabying about it, I'm going to get me a let's go Brandon t-shirt. I got to. Just to piss people off. All right, let me get to this last thing, Kim Potter. It's another touchy subject. She was the female cop that pulled out thought she pulled out her taser and she pulled out a gun instead and shot the man. I want to say his name is Dante Wright, if I'm not mistaken. Do I think Kim Potter should have been found guilty? Yes, I do. And I got a few takes on this. I got a few takes on why this went wrong. Number one, why it went wrong is you don't try to flee the cops in the first place. I mean, I gotta say this, man. Had he not flee the cops in the first place, he would more likely still be alive. I'm saying there's a 100% chance he'd still be alive had he not flee the cops. I don't get why people feel like fleeing the cops is the right move. It's the wrong move. It's the worst move, especially in a climate. If you feel like this is the thing, if you feel like cops are so trigger happy and got an itchy finger, why the hell would you even flee? Why the hell would you just try to run from somebody who's got a trigger happy finger? I'm not running from trigger happy fingers. I mean, I'm gonna throw that out. I got to. I got to throw it out there. If he doesn't run, he's still alive today. And a big problem why she made this mistake is, once again, this is gonna sound feminist, but number one, I don't trust women as cops. I don't trust a woman as a cop. They're not fit. This is why, man. A woman is not. If she was by herself, if she was by herself, um, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if she was with somebody or by herself. I think the incident probably leads to the same way. Her freaking out, her panicking, and that's the thing. Cops aren't supposed to freak out and panic. One of the big problems I see with the police force is I don't. First of all, I don't know that I trust women, but let's just put that aside. Let's just put the fact that I don't trust women, and it sounds feminist, but I don't trust. Not that I don't trust women, but I don't trust women as cops. Because if you can't, they can't wrestle off an offender like a man can. A woman by herself with another man is going to have a hard time. I don't care how much training she has. She's physically going to have a hard time wrestling the guy to the ground by herself. That's number one. But take female out the equation. This is what the biggest problem I think with cops are. Some of these motherfuckers are some fat fucks. Fat, pudgy, fat fucks. Like, I'm thinking that the police force needs to be more like the military. They need to be working out on a regular. They need to, like, once you start getting out of shape, you shouldn't be allowed to be a cop out in the street no more. I repeat, once you start getting out of shape, you should have a desk job. They need to stop putting these little fat, pudgy, donut eating fucks out on the streets. Because they can't wrestle a fucking cat to the ground. They got too much freaking body fat. That's the thing. These cops that are on the streets need to be more fit. They need to be constantly in shape. They need to be basic training. They need to be running all the time. Doing whatever they need to do to keep the body fat down. That to me, that's one of the big problems. Is there's too many overweight cops on the streets that can't wrestle cotton to the ground. I mean, they can't wrestle nothing to the ground. I mean, cotton is just cotton. They can't wrestle a cotton shirt to the ground. It's just so fat, so pudgy. So cops, it should be illegal for cops to eat too many donuts. They get too fat. That's another thing. They need to, like, if they start getting fat, desk job or retire them early. Cops need to stay in better shape. They need to constantly be updating training. They need to constantly be training. Like these cops, they'll go through a bunch of training early, and then they probably don't do no major training for like 20 years unless something new comes in. They constantly need to stay training, constantly need to stay in shape. And they need to do like quarterly lie detector tests. Quarterly lie detector tests and hit these cops with these harsh racial questions and find out who's racist and who's not and weed them out. That's really all. That's what I'm seeing. We need to weed out the fat fucks, they eat too many donuts, and the racist fucks. Racist ones got to go regardless. We can't have. We don't. There's no room for racist cops whatsoever. Um, there might be a little room for fat fucks just on the working the desk, but once you get like you start getting like pudgy, start getting rolls in your gut like I'm getting. Nah, man, you need to be taken off the street, man. You don't need to be working the street. So that's two of the main things. Some of these cops are just so out of shape and they're out of date with their training, and we can't have that. We need to have cops that stay in shape, that stay up to date with their training, and they need to start doing a lie detector tests. And not even just to find racist cops, but dirty cops. Because that's the thing. You know, just because they're a dirty cop doesn't mean they're racist. Because a dirty cop could be sitting there and they could be on the take for some white dudes, some white bank robbers or drug dealers or whatnot. They could be on the table by some white dudes that could be paying them, you know? So we need dirty cops out, we need racist cops out, we need fat cops out. The rest can stay. Kim Potter was definitely out of shape. She probably shouldn't have been on the streets. She probably should have been off the streets, on the desk. She was out of shape. She was probably out to date with her training. Out of date with her training. Out of shape. I don't know that she's a racist. There's nothing to really go off of that and prove that. Um, I mean, I just think she just panicked. She freaked out. I honestly do believe she meant to grab her taser. And but we can't have a problem like that with a even when a guy resists. We can't have cops killing unarmed people. We can't have that. There's no room for cops killing unarmed people. Now, when you got a gun and you shoot at the cop, it's a different story. I don't want to hear people talking about, you know, the cop shouldn't have shot back. You know, it's easy. It's like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. It's easy for somebody to say Kyle Rittenhouse is a cold-blooded murder until you're on your back when somebody's pointing a gun at you. If you ain't never had a gun pointed at you before, I don't want to hear you commenting about any matter that has to deal with guns being pointed at people. I don't want to hear you comment about whether it was self-defense or not when somebody's pointing a gun at somebody. And if you ain't never had a gun pointed at you, then shut the hell up. You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like when thinking like, you know, hoping that this dude doesn't pull the trigger just cause. You know, so yeah, Kim Potter probably should have been out on the streets. There's a lot of what ifs. What if he didn't resist? What if she wouldn't have been on the streets? What if she would have been more up to date on the training, more unfit? And and that's the thing, cops, man, they get so unfit towards the end of their careers. So unfit. They just sitting in the car all day, eating donuts, drinking coffee, getting fat. None of them have any real discipline. The older cops get, the less disciplined they are. You know, yeah, we probably need to have an age limit of cops on the streets too. Like, we don't need to have cops on the streets that are just probably too old. We probably need to keep once you get to a certain age. I don't know if we need cops on the streets past 50 years old. Maybe we need like young, spry 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds on the street. And maybe 50 I'm going a little too much. Maybe 60. Maybe this social security age is where 65 and up. But cops usually retire by then anyways. We don't need no old cops on the streets. No cops that are too old. We don't need no cops that are too out of shape. We don't need cops that are on the street with out-of-date training. We definitely don't need racist cops on the streets. We don't need dirty cops on the streets. I mean, I think it's a fix of a lie detector test quarterly and making these cops have to stay in shape more, man. Lie detector test and cops staying in shape. And we have a better police force. We get rid of the racists because the racists wouldn't be able to lie their way through these racist questions. or the dirty cops would be able to lie their way through it, taking money under the table and stuff like that. A lot of tests to be going through the roof, and then once you get rid of them, you just got to keep cops in shape and keep them up to date. But there's a lot of what ifs in this Kim Potter. Yes, Kim Potter should have been found guilty. There's no room for you mistaking your gun for your taser. There's no room for that at all. I don't care what the situation is with any unarmed suspect. There's no room for you mistaking your gun for your taser. Now, if he actually had a gun pointed at them, then there is room for mistaking your gun to your taser, because you don't need to be grabbing your taser out when somebody points a real gun at you. But there's no room for this kind of mistake, and it just goes off of where. I'm sorry, I don't trust female cops one bit. I don't think they can handle their own. I don't think they can stand on their own 2 feet. You know, it's one thing for a female soldier. This is the thing. It's one thing for me to have me and a female soldier be going to war, because me and her, I don't gotta worry about her helping me necessarily wrestle an offender to the ground and cuff them. I just gotta worry about, can she shoot and shoot straight, and does she have my back? But with cops, it isn't just we're not. It is you can't just go into war mode. You can't just start shooting. You know, you have to apprehend the suspect in the least violent possible manner. Every single time, it has to be done in the least possible manner. Once they start fleeing, and when a person flees and they got no weapon, the most you should be doing pulling out is a taser or a nightstick. Anytime somebody has no weapon, zero weapons on them, they have no knife or no gun, there is no reason a cop should be pulling out a gun. There's nothing. You can't give me any valid reason. Now, the person's got a knife on them or a gun, yeah, pull out your pistol. Pull out your pistol, aim it to the head, let them know, if you don't put that shit down, I'm gonna shoot your ass. Cause I mean, you know, even cops, when somebody pulls a gun or a knife on them, they gotta protect themselves. At that point, it's not when somebody pulls a gun or a knife on you. I don't care what your job is. If you are a cop, it's not right now. It's not about protect and serve. When somebody has a knife on you or a gun to your face, it's about protecting. It's just about protect yourself. At that point, there's no more protect and serve the community once they pull a weapon on you. It's kill or be killed. And anybody that thinks otherwise is dumber than a bag of bricks. They've never had a gun put to them. They've obviously never been stabbed. You know, stabbed in the chest right here. You know, so voila. But yeah, Kim Potter, she got what she deserved. She probably shouldn't have been on the street in the first place. Um, I'm always gonna have my stance that I don't trust women cops, because they can't stand on their own 2 feet. They always gonna need backup. I'm sorry. When a situation arrives where it gets violent, they're always going to need backup. Always. And the fact she was overweight, she was probably on a train. She probably hasn't dealt with an incident like that in forever. And that's why they got to keep the training up to date, because you got to be able to know how to deal with these incidents. I don't know how many years she got. It's her first offense. She didn't. I don't believe she intentionally meant to kill him. So that's another thing when you're talking about killing somebody. We got to prove intent. Did they intend to kill somebody? If they didn't intend to kill nobody, you can't charge them like a cold-blooded murderer. You just can't. You know. But yeah, Kim Potter. I don't feel sorry for her. Um, feel sorry for the parents of Dante Wright. I mean, all this could have been avoided, man. It really, all this could have been avoided. You know, it really could have. It really, at what cost? I mean, look at the cost that he paid by trying to evade the cops and just dip off on them. I mean, you're right there, dude. Two cops right there. There's no. It don't make no sense to run at that point. You should have, if that was the case, you should have been never pulled over and just kept going when they try to pull you. But it just doesn't make no sense for somebody to get pulled over by the cops. Two cops are right there, and you just try to dip on them right there. How do you think it's going to end? It's not going to end well, and it ended the worst possible way for him, man. To be honest with you, it's like one life is gone forever, and the other life is just ruined forever. All because somebody just tried to evade the cops. Somebody who had a warrant out for him, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we got warrants out. It's just, I don't get people, man. You know, I just don't get people, man. But some people, I mean, they're always going to run for the cops. And when you're always going to run for the cops are always going to chase you. And it's not always going to end well, man. I just think this whole situation could have been avoided if he would have just let him put on the cuffs, just took his ride downtown, and he'd still have his life, man. I mean, even, that's the thing, man. I've been hit by a car and faced near death. Prison is still better than death. I repeat, prison is still better than death. There's nothing worse than death, man. Because I know y'all think that once y'all die, y'all going to heaven or hell. You're not, man. Once you die, it's over. That's it, man. Complete darkness. Life is over. It's done with. That's why you got to make the most of this life today, man, and tomorrow and the day after. It's a whole new year. You got to make the most of this life now. Because nobody's promised tomorrow. I could leave out this house again and get hit by a car again. And this time I could die. I could get shot just cause I'm walking down the street. Cause it happens. People get shot over less. But it is what it is, man. I'm gonna make the best of this life today. Even if I did, like, I'll just give you a scenario. If somebody ran over my dog in front of me right now, the worst thing they could do, like if I was out, they ran over my dog right in front of my apartment right now. The worst thing that they could do is stop. Because if they stop and they blatantly just ran over my dog, which more likely would be because they were speeding through my neighborhood, and you kill my dog right in front of me, I'd shoot your ass. That is my dog. And I'd go to prison. That's why I tell my dog every time when I'm like, don't go near the road. Why do I say that? Because my dog is going to give me a murder charge. If you kill my dog in front of me, you don't value life one bit. You don't value life one bit. You kill my dog right in front of me. One of my dogs has been killed and they kept going. That was smart. That was smart of them. Because if they would have stopped, I'd have put hands on them. I didn't have a gun then. I had no 12 gauge then. I got 12 gauge now. You killed my dog in front of me. I'm sorry. I value my dog's life over any strangers. And if you're on TikTok, go follow her. But I value my dog's life over any human being stranger. If I don't know you, I'm sorry. Your life is not above my dog's. Your life is beneath my dog's if I don't know you. I put my dog's life above yours. If somebody like, I mean, if somebody literally killed my dog in front of me, I would go to prison for the rest of my life, probably. And I wouldn't care what the court system would say about it, because the laws of man are bogus anyways. You kill somebody I love in front of me, you don't get to breathe a second longer. I don't, and I don't want to hear it's an accident when you run over my dog, because the last time it happened, it was because the person was speeding like crazy down the road. They go like 100 miles per hour down the road. No, that's not an accident. You're at fault. So yeah, man. I don't know what to tell y'all, but I wouldn't kill myself if I had to go to prison. Because if I kill somebody because they killed my dog, I won't kill somebody because I had to go to prison. Because I would, life still is not over. Because I probably still get out of prison, because it'd be my first offense. So I probably still get out of prison. And to be honest with you, I probably have a good case. Good case for insanity or something like that. I mean, because I truly care about my dog. Truly care about my dog. And people that put human life over dog lives, well, good luck with that, because I don't. I put your life beneath my dog's life. My dog's life is more important to you than your life to me. Because I don't even know you from Adam and Eve, and I don't even know if you're a decent human being. And I definitely don't put non-decent human being lives over my dog's life. If you're a dishonest human being, you're totally beneath my dog. I would, if it came down to we're on a plane and I gotta save my dog's life or yours, and you're a dishonest human being, good luck. Because I don't care about dishonest human being. Period. No, you don't get to make me care about dishonest human being. Just like you don't get to make me say that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man when they can't. You don't get to do that. It's a lie. And you don't get to tell me I have to follow my life based off of lies. I follow my life based off truth. And this Dizzle with this Sprite, Cisco Niebuhr gives it 2 thumbs up. Give it 2 thumbs up. But yeah, Kim Powder got what she deserved. Democrats are a bunch of double standard hypocrites. Y'all sitting there crying about let's go Brandon, but y'all are all sitting there saying fuck Donald Trump. Aaron Rodgers is right. They're creating a two-class system in the NFL, vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And as far as the Leah Thompson thing goes, I don't feel sorry for women's sports one bit. And the far right that, or not even far right, the right politicians that are sitting there like, this is terrible for women's sports. Well, blame the women. If you want to blame somebody for ruining women's sports, blame the women that supported this transgender movement. Because I can tell you right now, more women supported this movement than men. I guarantee that. More women. And I ain't talking about the transgenders themselves. I'm talking about non-transgender people who support this movement are predominantly women. The same people I blame for women's basketball not being where it's at, because enough of them don't support women's basketball. Too many of them support the transgender movement, and not enough support women's basketball. Go figure. And they want to blame who? You blame women for women's sports being what it is. Because I can tell you right now, ain't no transgender woman coming to dominate men's sports. It ain't happening. No way, no how. Not in a trillion years. They don't stand a motherfucking chance. Ain't no person born as a woman that has became a transgender man is going to go to men's sports and dominate whatsoever. This is only going to affect women's sports. Only. And I don't feel sorry for them. I used to say maybe they just need a transgender league. But no, it's women's fault. They were the forefronts, the number one supporters behind these transgender movements, which is based off a lie. Because women cannot be men and men cannot be women. You can identify with what you want to identify with. It doesn't make you that. I can identify with a freaking porcupine. I'm not a porcupine. I can identify with a snake. Doesn't make me a snake. I can say I can identify with a freaking cockroach. It doesn't make me a cockroach. I can identify with a kangaroo. Guess what? I don't got a freaking pouch and I ain't hopping around here. I'm not a kangaroo. You can identify with what you want to identify with. It doesn't make you what you identify with. It's still not truth. It's still not facts. You know. So that's my take on the Leah Thompson thing. Break all the records. But just know that these far right or these right politicians, I'm actually going to go at them on this one today. Like, I don't want to hear y'all crying and complaining about women's sports being ruined by transgenders when women are the reason. Stop it. Stop it. They don't get to point fingers at nobody else and blame nobody else for that shit. You know? And like I said, I don't really have a problem. I don't have a problem because, you know, they're not going to dominate men's sports at all. It's only gonna affect women's sports, which really isn't. Women's sports is lacking anyways. It's lacking support from women, and it's lacking celebrity status because it doesn't have enough support for women. Women's sports will never be what men's sports is because, you know, if I ask a chick out to a date and I say, hey, you want to go to a LA Sparks game or a LA Lakers game? 10 times out of 10, women are going to say Lakers game. Is that my fault as a man that 10 times out of 10 a woman is going to choose a Lakers game over a Sparks game? No. I gave her two options, but I guarantee 10 times out of 10 a woman is going to say, hell no, let's go to the Lakers game. They'd rather look at some muscular men running up and down than some manly women like Brittany Griner or something. Women ain't trying to go and look at Brittany Griner's manly ass run up in court, run up and down the floor. They trying to look at a manly man, not a manly woman. You know, but yeah, I don't. It is what it is, man. You gotta blame women. You know, people can say it's feminist. They don't blame women on this, but it's the truth. It's just like I blame women on women's basketball not being big. You know, if half of the women were supporting women's basketball, we wouldn't be having a debate, an argument over why is women's basketball got to be subsidized by the NBA. The NBA is literally paying for the WNBA to exist at this point. If the NBA doesn't kick out $100 million a year, the WNBA doesn't even exist at this point because not enough women are supporting women's sports. That's not man's fault. That's not man's fault. All you sexist people out there, you know, that's not man's fault that are not enough women, you know, are supporting the sport. And it's also not man's fault that too many women are supporting transgender women and transgender men. That's not our fault. Because I can tell you right now, the only men that really support transgenders is men that are transgenders. There's a difference between us saying, all right, live your life, do what you want to do, and us having to show support. There's a difference between me saying, like, I don't have a, you know, if you wanna be a transgender, so be it. But there's a difference between you saying that I have to support your movement which is based on a lie. I don't support lives. I would never support the transgender movement. Would I support the homosexual movement? Possibly. Possibly, because it's different. Homosexuals are that's based off of an attraction, a person that has an attraction to the same sex. That's totally different than what transgenders are. Transgenders are trying to tell us that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. There's no truth to that whatsoever. There's no proof unless a man, somebody could be born a man and get pregnant and have a kid. I mean, have a kid out of a womb. They can't. A man can't become a woman, and a woman can't grow a penis. A man can't. A man can cut off his thing and create a vagina, but a woman can't grow a penis. And it's not even really a vagina, you know. It's just you cut off a penis and that is a hole, and now you want to label it as a vagina, you know. But yeah, you'll never have me convinced that a man could be a woman and a woman could be a man. And I don't even come off of no religious stance because I don't believe in God. I believe in the laws of nature. I believe in common sense and common knowledge, you know. And am I transphobic? No, I'm not, because I ain't scared of nobody on this earth. I ain't scared of not one person on this planet. You're not going to put any fear in my heart. And that's what a phobia is, fear. But people try to label people transphobia. Like, they try to redefine what phobias are. No, phobia is a fear. You don't get to redefine it. It's already defined. You know, just because somebody dislikes trans people doesn't mean they're scared of them or fearful of them. Even if somebody hates trans people, it doesn't make them scared of them or fearful of them. And I mean, I don't hate trans people. I don't dislike them. I just don't agree with them. I don't agree that a man could be a woman and a woman could be a man. I believe whatever you're born, that's it. Signed, sealed, that's it. You can cut off whatever you want to cut off. It doesn't change what you were born as. All right, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This is first episode of the New Year's. We are on episode 95. I got 5 more to go. We're going to do the press release for the 100th episode, and then we're going to do an advertising campaign. Don't forget this audio version of our podcast goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Slacker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and more. If you're on TikTok, hit the follow. After I end this live TikTok stream, I will follow anybody who tuned in that I'm not following. Don't forget the pre-recorded version goes to Instagram TV, Facebook, Rumbler, YouTube, and I will also take the recording and stream it live on 3 of my Twitter accounts, which I have several Twitter accounts, so they vary on which ones I'm going to tweet. But I always do stream on Paul Pickett Podcast Twitter, but then the other 2 might vary. It might be Promo Palace, it might be Indie Castle, I got Urban Obsessions, Radio Tour Promotion. I got several Twitter accounts, you know, because I used to have several domains, and some of them didn't really pan out like I wanted to, and that's why my New Year's resolution focus is just really on Paul Pickett Podcast, Digital New Letter Apparel. For the next some odd years, those are the main 3 brands I'm going to be focusing on getting popping. Because once all 4 of my brands are popping, you know, which I don't own Dizzle, but I'm a part of it. Once Dizzle, New Letter Apparel, Paul Pickett Podcast, and Promo Palace LLC is popping, I mean, money should be flying in like crazy every day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, by then I should be making at least well over $250,000 a year. You know, I should be making well over $250,000 a year once these other 3 brands pick up. Also, don't forget New Litter Apparel at newlitter.com. If you like t-shirts, hoodies, you like dogs and cats, please check us out, newlitterapparel.com. We even got apparel for your dogs to wear, like dog bandanas. We got dog tags as well. For Shizzle, I got to shout out DizzleBrand.com. Normally, I don't drink Dizzle this early, but it is the New Year's. I didn't stay up late last night, and I wanted to test this Dizzle out with Sprite. Do your Dizzle, just add ice, Dizzle on ice, DizzleBrand.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and more. Don't forget, bow. And I got more bottles on the way and whatnot as well. And Dizzle is a mixture of agave, tequila, cognac, orange liquor, mango mix, and crisp lemon as well. Well, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. My name is Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, a.k.a. the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and more. Peace, and I'm out.